ago, I was sitting in my house near Amsterdam, saying to myself, I have been running a business for 8 to 9 years, and I haven't taken a vacation. And for that sake, not even some very long weekends. And then I had an idea. How about if I could blend Airbnb with meetup.com and run away to London for the weekend? It was 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I quickly booked myself a ticket. At about 5 o'clock, I was already in London. And the next morning, I joined the wonderful Transformers team in the Hyde Park. And to make a very long story short, this is how I ended up being here with Agnes and David, who are multi-talented, running their incredible Transformers business, increasing the awareness, not only from the health point of view, but also from the confidence, business acumen point of view of women and of people around the world. They brought me here via a 3-year voyage. And what do I mean by here? Here we are in Paris. We are filming from Paris. This is what freedom does to you. This is what owning your own business does to you. It allows you to be anywhere, at any time, with a huge smile on your face, with your best friends, working out, having coffee at midnight if you feel like having it, not having to worry about schedules. We started filming at 10, but here it is almost 11:30. We're having no deadlines, and we're just having fun. But why? Because we're passionate. My name is Anna Maria, and I'm the CEO of Powerstorm, which is an American company, however, with the headquarters in Amsterdam. Offices in Romania, office in Los Angeles, and some other ex-offices in Dubai and other areas. But just to say that it's been a journey getting here, and it's been a journey actually having this interview.
So we met, 4 years ago?
A couple of 2-3 years ago.
2-3 years ago. And I remember when you came to the Happy Bootcamp session and you were running, you had all the kit on, you had your night trousers, your night top, and you had your nice big Oakley's glasses, and you were standing out from the crowd in the session, and you came to Whole Foods with us afterwards, and you just inspired me, and it was a pleasure to meet you, and it was great to get to know you that day, and that was the first time we met, and we've been in contact ever since.
Well, let me tell you what I remember about that day. I arrived in a sexy outfit, and I left covered in mud and not able to move. This was my summary of my first meeting you, David. And this is the greatness of your program. It challenges you. So, yeah, the Whole Foods was the whipped cream on the cake, but the cake was made of mud and hard work and sweat. I really enjoyed it, and I couldn't wait to come back the weekend after.
Yeah, and you came back, and I've seen your journey progressing over the last 2-3 years with your health and fitness. And you mentioned that you started a company, and am I right in saying that this company's been going on for over 10 years?
Yeah, so I started a company in 2004, actually in Los Angeles. I was a, let's say, younger mother, or the mother of a young child. And I was thinking, okay, I speak several foreign languages. To be precise, this is my talent. I speak 5 foreign languages. And Italian, French, Romanian. I'm originally from Romania. Spanish, English, apparently. And I have a young child, and I want to, I was living in Los Angeles at the time, and I want to be able to spend the entire day with my child without giving him away to a babysitter or to a daycare. I wanted to be a perfect mother in the daytime as much as possible. So what kind of job could I do to allow me to do that? So I looked at my skills and I looked at my passion, and my passion was I like to call people from foreign countries and talk to them. Why? Because it's less boring, it's culturally fulfilling, and I speak the languages. And I love to wake up early. So I started my journey of 2 a.m. wake-up calls in Los Angeles. So I can sell, and I got involved in the field of telecommunications, and I started calling European clients initially which if I started my day at 2 or 3, that means that more or less by 9 o'clock in the morning, I had a 6-hour day. My son was up doing things with my husband. And basically, I was more or less having a free day after that. So that was how the whole thing started. I wanted to be with my son and I wanted to do something fun.
That's
I
awesome.
didn't write a business plan. I just kind of thought, here's a phone, here's a computer. I'm going to start calling.
That's awesome. And where does that initial drive come from? For you to start something, where does that come from?
Well, I just have never imagined myself not being driven. Like, for example, I have to say that I started running when I was 10 years old in Romania, when I was living in Romania. And I remember running in the winter in the snow and waking up early. And I did not envision leading my life as a failure. On the other hand, because of some experiences I had in the professional field, I could never envision my life working for someone, because I'm not very good to take orders, and I'm not very good I can show up very early, but on my own time and on my own, making my own rules. If somebody tells me come here at 9 a.m., I don't like to be told what to do, as I mentioned. So the drive comes from the idea of really achieving freedom, of just being in touch with myself and exceeding my own expectations, but actually not from the idea of beating someone or being better than someone. Just competing with myself.
And we just mentioned that you've been the president of Powerstorm for over 10 years. So how has business changed over the last 10 years in the telecom industry? What have you seen different in terms of the changes? Is this how fast has it developed, especially with technology these days?
So basically, we started in telecom, meaning this whole generation, at a time when 2G was being installed. My particular niche from the telecom in the telecom industry when I started was selling refurbished telecom equipment. And what that meant was that some of the 2G equipments from the Western world were already swapped and being replaced, and we had a multitude of opportunities to sell those to the third world countries, and primarily to Africa. So basically, the idea was that at that time, Africa was pretty much, as far as telecom is concerned, nothing was really happening. So there was a huge amount of opportunities. It was a field of opportunities, not a desert, but a field. And everybody was interested in buying these refurbished equipment. So this was happening for several years. And then with time, the big change, because this was your question, the entire focus was reverted on power. Now, by coincidence, the name of the company is Powerstorm, and that initially meant powerful lady, because this is another thing, focus on hiring ladies, empowering them, because I wanted to have friends at work, so I thought I would be better friends with ladies than with men initially, so I'll hire some ladies to help me. Plus, the people that we hired initially were very much from international culture, so it was really fun to chat with ladies from all over the world. So Powerstorm were the powerful colleagues, the powerful people I hired, but this had a different meaning to our clients, because Powerstorm to the clients meant it's a company that not only provides equipment and infrastructure equipment for their own networks development, by networks I mean mobile networks, but also could potentially provide us power, batteries, generators.
So you went to link the name together?
So they became linked. And how has the business changed? It's changed from the fact on a dependency on selling infrastructure equipment to an opportunity of selling not only power but green power. And this is where the world is evolving and what everything is revolving around. So the entire business is about power now.
That's awesome. I love the way that you've come up with the name, Powerstorm. So we've got the power, and then what, is it just a storm that you came up with, or does that have a meaning as well?
Actually, I should not give myself the entire credit for Powerstorm because although I was not a single mother, I had a husband who was an amazing person, and he actually, we brainstormed on this name together. So he is very good with he is very creative, and I have to say that we created this name together, and it's it's something that came from both of us. So. That's
awesome.
It came about.
It's nice to hear a story about how you developed this name, because I think it's really powerful and it has a really meaningful sense to it for you as an individual and for people as well when you tell them the story. I think it's fantastic. So, just another question about the company. Where can you see the vision of Powerstorm? Because obviously things are developing very quickly out there now with what's going on in the world. Where can you see the future going with the telecom industry?
So now the whole world and the whole telecom is about CO2 reductions. As far as where the company is going, there is no doubt in my mind that I'm going to be involved in anything as far as my main business from now on than actions that translate commercially also in CO2 reduction, but not with a commercial set in mind first, but with a CO2 reduction in mind first, because that's the first and the foremost we are thinking as a humanity. It's not that it's an obsession, it's a passion. This is like my path.
Yes.
And I cannot envision one client or one human that once they understand the impact and once they are no longer in denial and once they become consciousness, they develop the consciousness about this, I cannot believe that they will not join through whatever paths they're leading into this fight, which is destroying the humanity.
Yes.
And is destroying the emerging markets first.
And what does the CO2 reduction do for an environmental purpose for the people who are watching? What does it do to the environment?
Well, first of all, it's all about the melting of the glaciers, is the raising of the ocean sea levels, and it's about entire populations and entire lands disappearing from their existence. Many of the emerging markets, many of the islands, in some years will no longer exist. Flora and fauna, animals, plants, they will no longer exist the way they are today. And in some of the emerging markets, they will go first. So the world as it is today will disappear. And so the entire focus, okay, let's just say that my company is not a huge company, it's considered an SME. However, so I'm not responsible of making the change that will impact, such as, for example, like an airline or like big industries, especially in China and in the United States and in Russia. However, we are doing our duty and we are working in the prime business because telecom, especially in the emerging markets, is driven by the use of fuel in generators. The power in the areas where there is no power in the fields, in the rural areas, is about generators providing this power via fuel. And we need to upgrade those generators to hybrid and to solar and to the new energies. And I cannot figure out how to fly a plane on solar panels, but I can figure out,
anyway.
not yet, because I'm not in that business. However, I can have an impact in my business because by staying and by being consistent on the mission to speak to the clients about and to the World Bank and to the NGO institutions about the importance of investing in capital investment to decrease the CO2, the carbon dioxide. Actually.
And you were telling us yesterday about a product that you're working on for this, that you want to take to Africa and swap what they are using in terms of their gasoline.
Yeah, so this is basically that. This is that. So these are the hybrid, the solar systems that will be slowly replacing the generators that are eating up fuel and producing CO2 with something that we have plenty of, and that is solar power.
That's awesome. So how do you come up with this device, this CO2 reduction device that you want to take into Africa?
It's a solution. That is a solution. So how do you come up with it? we speak to our B2B clients for many years, and we always listen. What is so actually it's through a commercial journey, because when you speak to the clients, they are saying, we're asking, so what is your biggest headache? And their biggest headache and what keeps them up at night is fuel theft from the fields.
Yes.
And the fact that their expenses are too high because of the usage of fuel. And it's almost like if they're making revenues, they're wasting a lot of those revenues
Of course.
on paying for the diesel. So now the investment, the capex, the capital investitures in solar or in new technologies is more expensive. However, with the help that we're hoping to get from large NGO banks and investment communities, we will be able, and our goal is to help our clients to be able to invest half and half, or to create a power fund to invest into these technologies to allow them to have less fuel dependent systems.
Yes.
And more green-based systems. At the moment, a lot of these systems that are going into Africa and into the emerging markets come from China. Why? Because the Chinese government has a much more generous pocket to allow these particular systems to be rolled out with less timelines of repayment, back repayments. But when we are raising our awareness in the Western world and realizing that actually we have a lot of money available to save this planet, and we should be investing also in our Western technologies, then correlating the two, humanity, commercial, reduction of fuel usage, reduction of CO2, it's all an ecosystem of good decisions.
Yes.
And this is the mission we're on. This is the rocket we're on.
Yeah. And there are people out there like yourselves who are coming up with these solutions and ideas. But what can we do as individuals on this earth, myself and millions of other people out there, what can we do on a everyday basis that can have an effect to reducing the reduction of CO2?
Actually, one of the most incredible CO2 reduction supporters in the world is Kevin Anderson. He's a professor at University of Manchester. And he says that in order to keep or to bring the increase, the global warming, to keep it at 2% instead of higher, it is enough to decrease our consumption. So what do we do with that? First of all, we are joining trains, and we are traveling less by sources that are using a lot of fuel.
Yes.
So using smaller cars instead of SUV, we are using smaller cars. So it's actually in our hands to make a change as individuals.
Yes.
On the other hand, also, he's talking about, yes, that's not individual, but he's talking about still nuclear facilities as being the most efficient as far as CO2 production. But going back to what can we do, and as much as I love to travel, and as much as, I love the airlines, and as much as I love to go and see clients, and I love to my business allows me to work from anywhere in the world. I was just looking at my Facebook yesterday. I had 489 pins from around the world in the last couple of years, just mostly from oddly places. I'm using a lot of CO2, so it was during my times when I was less aware.
Yes.
But also what I did is, by doing some investigation with KLM and with Air France, is that first of all, I can participate by paying into the carbon funds, CO2 reduction funds every time I buy a ticket. And also, by doing that, they're investing in technologies and innovation that allows us to fly by consuming less fuel.
Yes.
So that's what we can do as consumers.
Yeah.
Pay and consume less, I guess.
Yeah, that's good. And I've done a lot of research as well in the carbon dioxide reduction. I don't know if you're aware of it, but the biggest industry which actually produces the carbon dioxide is the agriculture industry.
That is not my field.
Yeah.
I have to say that I'm more geared now into the CO2 reduction in telecom, so I'm focusing on that, especially in this interview. But we will have an interview with Kevin Anderson soon, and because I'm due to go and visit him, I hope very shortly, and then maybe that's something we can do and discuss it more.
Yeah, that would be excellent. And
you know where Manchester is, right?
Yeah, of course. So, you know, since the day I've met you and I've seen you on your journey and you developing all these amazing products, and you know, you inspire me. You know, you're a very successful lady. How do you actually deal with the masculine environment, especially in Africa, when you're dealing with these clients?
Who is that? Who's that? I don't know. You know, I didn't grow up thinking about masculine and feminine. I grew up in Romania. Everybody's equal. All the girls are supposed to become engineers.
Yes.
So I don't have this issue with men and women in the workforce. I believe men are more powerful, and I want them to be more powerful to protect me, but I'm powerful too, and it doesn't bother me if somebody is more powerful. I just worry about myself, so I'm not dealing with it at all. But actually one thing that maybe prepares me, look, I've been exercising and running since I was a child. I was inspired. How did I get into exercise? Because they're all connected.
Yes.
I was playing in front of my house when I was, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, and I was living near a forest in a very nice place of town that kind of my house was a revolving door to a beautiful forest. And some people come there to train. So they park their cars at the beginning or the start of where you enter the entrance of the forest. And there were a couple of people who were training for marathons. And I still remember a guy who was 79 years old, and he was training for the Finland Marathon, Helsinki Marathon at the time. And I said, "Hi, I see you run here every day. You enter, and 5 hours later you come out of the forest. What are you doing?" He said, "I'm going to the Helsinki Marathon." And myself, living in a communist country at the time, I thought, oh, this is a way to get out of Romania by running a marathon. So I started running, and when you are a runner, or when you're doing any other exercises, but basically when you're a runner, you can feel like you're kicking ass.
Yes.
Like you are so empowered internally to the point where you're not thinking, this is a man, this is a woman. You're thinking, I'm powerful and that's me.
That's great.
But I'm not saying this to boast. I'm just saying how I feel. I feel good, strong.
Because you meet a lot of top CEOs, and a percentage of them I would guess would be mostly men when you're meeting all these CEOs of the top companies.
Yeah, but they are like nice puppies. They're cute. They're nice.
You got them all under control, yeah?
They're adorable. And they're my friends in most cases. But in some cases, when they're not my friends, it's because we haven't spoken yet.
Yes.
Usually when I speak to these people, it's not usually so much about the base stations or the equipments. We're talking about religions, we're talking about spirituality, we're talking about things that are important, family.
Yes.
We're talking about what got them there, what gets them up in the morning, and especially what keeps them up at night to get them up in the morning.
Yeah.
Then we talk about many times I talk about, are you eating fatty foods? And that brings us closer. And then we talk about, hopefully about CO2 reduction and some other. I'm not saying that I'm able to sell them everything that I pitch, for sure. It's not like that. It's a world full of competition.
You mentioned earlier that you have a son, and you tell us so many amazing things about him. He seems like a little genius.
My son, I know all parents say the same. My son is the sunshine, and they are but my son motivates me and inspires me, and he has done that since he was 5. I remember in our house in the Netherlands, we were, the parents' bedroom and the child's bedroom were on the same floor, and the doors were kind of see-through, like they had sort of milky windows.
Yes.
And I used to get up pretty early, and then walking around the house, and most times at 5 a.m. lights were on in his room, and if I peeked to see what he was doing, he was for sure on the floor with his Lego and studying some sort of encyclopedia with, it was called How It's Built or something about building, and lots of pictures. He was very passionate since that time, and basically the Lego is what brought him to the level where he is today. So he's 17, he just turned 17. He has had several international awards on robotics. He's a self-taught computer programmer. And now, at 17, he's already gotten his first internship at NASA.
That's awesome.
He pitched them, and he got invited within a week. He has been on the software development team, actually on one of the products that we're developing in the US, because he just wanted to be part of the team, and he's done some things that are amazing. He has been teaching junior girls, 12-year-old girls, part of a program called Girls Who Code. And he has never asked for anything unless he's done a full research and a full list of whys and a proposed business plan. And he's proposed to me, every time he wants something, he creates a business plan, more or less, because he likes to do his research, and this is a little bit like the difference between him and I. He actually doesn't open his mouth until he's sure. I'm opening my mouth a little bit before because I'm more spontaneous. But what I'm learning from him, and what I learned from him, not only his passion and his dedication, and he inspires me with all this, but he taught me that until you have a product that's pretty much ready, or until your pitch is pretty much ready, don't sell it. Don't go and sell it, because an investor or a client will get excited initially, and then his thrill may decrease as he may encounter other opportunities, other possibilities. And when you hit that particular company or client, when they are hot, you can get a deal closed right away if you are ready. So have your plan ready, have your letter of intent ready, have your CV ready. The more you can network a little bit to know who's who, but don't give away the don't let the bird out of the nest until it's actually out of the eggs, until it's actually out of the egg. So basically, his name is Harrison. He's an amazing guy.
So he's 17, and where did he get all these skills from? Where did he pick up all these amazing skills?
Yeah, we actually had a rule: no TV until he's 3. And no computer until he was, 7 or 8. Like, he was not allowed to be on the computer. And then I think he was allowed some games that were modern during those times.
Yeah.
He was allowed all the Legos he could see. So we invested a lot of money into Legos. Lego building was important.
He was always building.
Always building, and always with music in the background. At the beginning with Beethoven, Mozart, and brain building music. And later on with language building. He speaks beautifully and he creates beautifully, because I feel that everything, all the reading, everything, the music with beautiful words, with beautiful sensations towards his brain, really helped him develop to who he is today. I'm pretty sure of that.
That's awesome. And how did you juggle looking after your son and building up your businesses? How did you manage this?
Well, first of all, I was not alone. So first of all, the reason why I started my business, I was excited I was having this young boy, this baby, and I wanted to do all. And so I did not envision, as I mentioned, going away from home. And I did not envision having an office built somewhere where I would drive, and I would waste time driving and take him with me and looking for a babysitter and looking for a center.
Yes.
My whole idea was building a compound where the employees come to the house. And I said I was not alone. So basically, my son's father and I had an idea to purchase several houses and transform them into offices. So therefore, my commute was going across the hallway. First of all, my son is more or less brought up in the office. He knew already what a purchase order was when he was 4 and 5, and he was filing custom papers for international shipments because he was sitting in the office. So basically, this is how I juggle it, by making my family part of the business.
Yeah.
And his father, Mike, without him, it would have been impossible, because I was connected to my BlackBerry.
Yeah.
I didn't know if my hand was a BlackBerry or a hand, because I was busy. And my son, I remember at the time, was going to the international school in Amsterdam, and he had to be taken back and forth, and food had to be made, and I would not be where I am today if it were not for my husband. And basically, it's a partnership.
That's awesome.
So a woman having a business, like Hillary Clinton once said, it takes a village. And it took the village of us as a couple.
Yeah.
And it took the village of, employees because he was in the office, employees always said hello and goodbye and showed him, something. And then when we went in areas, we traveled a lot, so we allowed him to have conversations with, like, we didn't treat him necessarily as a kid. So
he was learning all the time when he was in the offices. So
yes.
Why don't we start taking our babies to the offices, because they're going to learn so much. The things that you taught your son in your office, he wouldn't have got taught those things in school. It's
osmosis. It was not about teaching, it was about being there. So I remember he was 8 years old, and he was calling, he by the way, he has an amazing voice, or he had an amazing voice at the time, still does, I think. And when he was 8, he was sitting on Skype in the Netherlands. At that time, he still lived in the Netherlands, and he was calling companies, agencies in LA, leaving messages at the odd times. Hi, my name is Harrison. I have a really good voice, and I'm looking for an agent. Please call me. Here's my number, blah, blah, blah. And he was doing this kind of stuff. It was very cute. Nobody called him back.
That's amazing.
At that time.
That's great. And
I'm very passionate about my son, obviously.
I know you've mentioned a couple of things about your business, etc. What would you say the top 3 things that has made you as an individual, from bringing up your son, starting these businesses? What 3 things do you think has changed with you as an individual? Has it made you stronger? Has it made you...
First of all, as when you're younger, you're not really, you're confident, of course, but more from an ego-driven point of view. But then when you are in touch with yourself and you're doing exactly what you want, the confidence is really a strength you have inside of yourself that nobody can take away.
Yeah.
So that's the basis of this whole thing. It's a confidence that's it's not fake. It's not because somebody told me I was nice, or somebody told me that I look good, or somebody said, oh, you did good in school. No, you feel it inside. And how do you feel inside? Because what you're doing is yourself. So that's the main thing, one thing. Secondly, when you have your own business, and especially a business like mine, and especially, meaning my goal is to be global and has been to be global, because of my languages, it just, like, I have friends everywhere, but I'm not saying, well, in the sense of I've met somebody in my university and they live in India and I know people. I actually have those friends because I work with them. Yes, some of them I studied with. I travel to them. My most amazing trips around the world have been when I visited my friends in Pakistan, who are my MBA colleagues. And they are amazing, and what they showed me about that part of the world and how they made me part of their family, it will never be taken out of me, and I would have never been allowed to experience that because I always work virtually in different locations if I wouldn't have had my own business, or if I would have had somebody to say, hey, you are missing 2 days. And I would have never been able to experience that, if I wouldn't have had Harrison have his father who supported me and took care of him and make sure that he's going to school. So that's the second point. And the third point is to realize that you can be strong, but you can also be weak, because life goes in cycles. So today, I feel pretty good. No matter what, I feel confident. However, sometimes I feel confidence with strength, and sometimes I feel confidence with reflection. Because when you're reflecting about, when you have a job and you're looking to change, you look for another job, or you're looking for promotion. But when you have your own business, how do you promote yourself? So sometimes you're going through areas through valleys of depth of asking yourself, what is my next step? Our internal selves are not staying the same when we are 21 or 35 as when we are 50. So basically, when things internally change, that particular strength I'm talking about, we shift internally. So we're trying to constantly replicate our inside with what we are putting outside, with the outward product. So, of course, during the process, you don't always feel strong. You still have the confidence because I've done it before, but it's a period of reflection and realizing how you could be weak but still have the internal strength. Because, of course, when you feel weak is sometimes not because I'm having a bad day, just because, you know, the business is changing. So, you know, I need to come up with something new.
Yeah.
And is this something new gonna make me money and be able to fulfill my responsibilities? It's not even a matter of being successful from the narcissistic point of view, because that's never been my goal. It's a matter of, is this new baby I'm creating a baby that will turn out into return on investment? I have employees, and I have a family, and I have myself to take care of, and I have friends.
Of course.
And so, is my weak, how do I turn around my weak moments? That's actually the third point. And we all have them, of course.
That's great, that's awesome. And there's a lot of women out there that are starting their own businesses, or they are becoming CEOs of big companies. And if you were to look back 10 years ago, there would have been mostly men CEOs of companies. There would have been most men starting up their businesses. But now, as the world is developing, we are seeing more women taking on the challenges of starting up their own businesses or becoming CEOs of big companies. And obviously you've been in business for over 10 years and you're very successful in what you do. For people or for women that want to start their own businesses, what advice would you give to them?
First of all, choose something that you're totally in tune with. It's like going into a fashion designer's shop and everything is for free. What would you choose? Which dress would you pick? Which talent, which passion would you pick to stick with? Is there anything, or do you have to keep shopping to discover yourself? Because obviously everybody has a talent, which we sometimes don't discover if we don't start reading and pursuing things that have a meaning. This is why times of reflection are very important. When you're always partying, when you're having a nice time, when you're just chatting on Facebook with friends, those are kind of empty moments. The moments of creation are the times when you're with yourself, when you find what you like and what you love. So I don't want to give advice to anyone, but the advice that I'm giving myself is what makes me tick. Because if something doesn't make me tick, it's not going to get me up in the morning.
Yes, of course.
Excuse me. So the ticking part is very important, finding what makes you tick, and don't stop looking until it ticks.
Yeah, and then when they have found something that, we can say something that they are passionate about, something that has meaningfulness to themselves and what they want to develop, something with purpose, what do they have to do then? Because it's great to think about what it is that you want to do, but what do they have to actually do then?
Actually, they just have to get up in the morning, and they have to do, basically, you know what to do. Sometimes when you're not sometimes when you're pregnant, but when you're pregnant, you're wondering, how am I going to have this baby?
Yeah.
But the body knows, because it's impossible not to have the baby come out. So just to compare that, when you have a passion and when you're delivering something at a level that is so natural to you, you know what to do. Sometimes you need a little doctor to help you here and there with some advice. But basically, you're getting up in the morning and you're saying, okay, I got to quickly do 1,000 sit-ups or 5 sit-ups to get my brain a little bit going. I will have some black tea or whatever other things get you a little bit more excited. But then I know what else I have to do next. I have to not go on Facebook maybe, or I have to just really focus. Like there are steps that you do. Like for example, in the past I used to go in my banking. Now I never go in my banking. It's my creative part of the day.
Yeah.
I go into things where I have to express myself.
Yeah.
Maybe for a person who wants to start a fashion designer line, maybe they have to start their day by drawing.
So you're saying that first of all, they need to find something that they're passionate about. Secondly, they just need to get up and do it. But then obstacles come in the way. Things may not be working, and then people want to stop or they want to give up. What would your advice be then when the difficulties come in the way? Because I'm sure you've had a few of them in your business.
Yes, all the time. And so basically, the most important thing is to realize that there is always a solution. Okay, so take the pen, take the paper. So first of all, I don't want to even use the word meditation because it's becoming too standard, but close your eyes and think towards yourself about ideas. Write that down if you want to. Just brainstorm on the most outrageous things. For example, somebody just hung up on me. They will not allow me to launch my fashion line. Okay, in a world where you can pick up any dress from your closet for free, in a world where you can pick up any dream for free, what would you do? Would you call the president of a fashion line? Would you call the president of a bank? Just think about outrageous ideas and then lower them a little bit so you can make them achievable. And for sure, even if you're not going to go for those or those will not happen, new ideas come on the way and you will find your solution. It is impossible, in my opinion, to start on something that you feel 100% for and not achieve it if indeed it's the feeling of the baby. If it's exactly that you believe in. Even if you find something that's not going to make you a lot of money, because for me the focus initially was I want to get up in the morning and have fun calling people and be not busy with a baby to take care of my son. So I was not so much focused on money. But even if at the end you'll not make money, you'll have the experience that will lead you somewhere. So it's the voyage, it's the distance that you have gone, and that means that you're prepared for the next move, which probably may be successful commercially. So the bottom line is don't give up.
There's always solutions, like you said. Just keep pushing yourself forward.
Will you stick to the same thing forever as a fool? Of course not. But come up with ideas that are related to, like, okay, this business is not working, but from that, maybe 20 other ideas will come up. But don't give up on being an entrepreneur. Don't give up being, in your own business. Come up with ideas how to move forward.
Yeah, and I think in business as well, your path always changes. You may come up with one idea, but then as you go on your journey, you tend to think about different things. And I'm sure that's happened with you as well in your business.
All the time. Yeah, like who would have thought? Who would have thought we would have been in Paris today having this adorable interview with best friends? Speaking about such best friends, professionals who have their own, the most amazing business track and business future. And who would have thought? And many things that are happening to us, who would have thought? Now I'm telling you, and I want to put this message out, the more trapped we are on our Facebook, chatting, looking at what other people are doing instead of focusing on what we're doing, answering too many mediums of communication that have nothing to do with what we want to leave in the world behind us and what our purpose is. And I got trapped and sidetracked.
Yes.
In some ways, I feel that I'm releasing some creative energy by creating some pictures and creating some writing. But on the other hand, the more I spend on those devices, you can easily spend your whole day and your whole life not doing anything else except being trapped.
Yeah. So how do we stop that? How do we stop that trappedness that you were just saying? How do we just
You just turn them off.
You just turn them off?
Yeah, you just turn them off, and because you realize that your friends are nice and cute, but they have their own things to do. And you can set some time later on to respond to all these little messages. I mean, depending how serious you are, because if you want to be in the business of answering Facebook messages, that's the business you have. If you close your eyes and you're envisioning yourself as a Facebook Messenger answeree, and that's your goal, have a nice time, that's your business.
Yeah.
Maybe helping people do something. But if you close your eyes and you envision yourself having a bakery, making vegan croissants, That's how you have to, where you have to turn off the Facebook for a second.
Yeah, I totally agree with them. I think a lot of people, they do get sucked into focusing on what other people are doing instead of focusing on what they are doing or what actually is possible for them to do in their life.
Exactly, and this also comes from running and the marathons and races. Like, for example, my experience, because I'm different than everybody else. A lot of people will say you have to watch and look at your competition. I'm looking a little bit, but not too much. When you're in a race and you start seeing everybody passing you, what are you going to do? So you have to realize, you know what, I'm here to have a wonderful relationship with myself. I'm going to run, but not to the point of killing myself. I'm just going to finish and have a nice time. I'm going to take some chocolates, put them in my pocket to give me energy. I'm going to pop them along the way.
Yeah.
And you know, I may finish 3 minutes later. I may even have some yoga stretches if I have pain. But I am not going to focus on everybody who's passing me or who's faster.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Or to the ones who are slower. I will not. I will just focus on, am I doing my best? How else can I motivate myself during this race? I got my little chocolate. I got my little yoga moves. I got my little music. This is metaphorically speaking how we compare this to a business.
Yeah.
How else can I make my journey more exciting? And then one day, during this race, your brain will move faster. You will meet a guy that is running near you. You'll meet a gal that's running near you, and they will go faster, but you have a good energy with them, and you'll run with them. And because of that, you'll become better, and they will invite you to the next marathon on the Great Wall of China, for example. And then you go to the next level, and your destiny changes, and your life is amazing because you're not sitting at home opening and listening to Facebook.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're a super smart lady, and you're such a beautiful woman as well, with a big heart and a big soul. And you are such a busy woman. You're traveling around the world. You're meeting so many people. It's just incredible, and you just look so amazing. So, what's the secret to your beauty?
Well, first of all, let me just say about the meeting amazing people. I don't know where this interview is going to go, but I want to say to everybody who's interested in manifestation, I have learned for the past 2.5 years that I am one of the biggest manifestors. I've manifested my business, okay, but that was during the time when I didn't know anything about manifestation. But I've manifested meeting some of the most amazing people, but not because I went to a seminar and I targeted them or somebody introduced me. I met them in the most odd ways and locations.
Yeah.
Many times sitting near the most many times sitting on a plane near the most famous person in India or the most amazing musician in X and Y country. And what connected us is, now this is what we're talking about. How do I stay in shape?
Yes.
So there is always a conversation about something that is about that question. So we sit down, and first of all, when you sit down, usually I meet people on the plane or on the train, and it's immediately who says hello to whom? Openness. So we start talking. And because you should never restrain from self to talk, because the universe and the destiny put you near someone. It doesn't matter if they're famous or not famous. Let's see if we can share anything, because our paths have crossed and you don't know what good you can do and vice versa. So you can inspire each other during the encounter. Could be in the line of a grocery shop. Could be crossing a bridge. You know, meeting an old lady while crossing a bridge and she makes you aware of something, of how short life is, for example. So going back to, so for me, this small occurrences of life, meeting interesting people, interesting to me, not because of their fame, but because of their spirit, is what keeps me excited. And I realize the more I lock myself in the house, and of course I have to do that because I need to work, I need to have my downtime to think and to come up with the ideas. But for me, it's better to go out and spend 50-50 time, because I regain my energy and my inspiration by meeting these amazing people. So that's part of my quote-unquote what makes me feel excited about things and keeps me in good shape mentally. I get replenished by people's energy. Of course, I have my regimen where, I wake up. I very rarely not work out. Today I didn't work out I didn't run my 8 kilometers, but I did do 100 small things here and there. My mother always told me, don't eat after 4 o'clock. And many times in my life I have not. Nowadays, because I'm in Paris, of course, we eat many times of the day. I'm not a vegan or even a vegetarian, but I tend to eat more of those dishes,
Yes.
Even if I'm not. I don't eat bread ever. I quit bread 5 years ago. I stopped drinking for 5 years, any alcohol. It was amazing. And now I'm having a little bit of small spirits here and there. But definitely I say, you know what, let's stop it so I can have a better sleep. I'm not applauding myself for it.
So you can stop and start things whenever you want.
Yeah. You can get addicted to good things and bad things. It's just a mindset, right?
Yeah.
So more or less, I can't envision myself being unhealthy. Can I tell you something? I didn't even buy health insurance because I'm paying. If I have to go to the doctor, I'll pay cash. Maybe like now that I turned a certain age, maybe I'll buy some health insurance. But basically, I don't need health insurance because I'm very healthy. I want to buy expensive foods like Whole Foods.
And what does health mean to you? What does it actually mean to you? Health, the word health.
Well, what good? Like they say in Latin. How do they say it in Latin? Well, I don't remember how they say it in Latin, but basically the translation is healthy mind in healthy body. What good does it do if my legs are muscular and I'm depressed? Well, chances are if my legs are muscular, I'm less depressed because probably I did something to increase my serotonin. However, what good does it do to be looking good?
Yeah.
To have a beautiful dress with nowhere to go. We need to share the experience of our beauty inside and out with others.
Yeah.
So that's very important, to associate ourselves with nice people, and not necessarily just with friends, but also with unknown people. Like I mentioned, a very nice lady crossing the bridge in Paris. That's sharing my experience. So basically, what was your question?
So, what is health for you?
Oh yeah, health is just balance. Yeah.
So inside and outside, you would say health, because obviously you said you can look amazing on the outside, but if you're not working on the inside.
Yeah. So that's definitely is the balance, and it's like we're all of us working all the time on the balance. I'm not saying that I achieve perfect health balance. If you are defining it with perfect balance, because there is always a better place to be a better financial planner. There is always a better place to be a better daughter to the parents, a better mother, a better lover of all sorts of things, a better friend. So it's all a balance, a better a better appreciator of life.
Yeah. So for the viewers that are watching and listening to this today, what would you say to them for them to do to be healthy on a daily basis?
So first of all, you need to have your inspiration. If you're not able to inspire yourself just with yourself, surround yourself with the right environment. If you want to be a runner, surround yourself with runners. If you want to be skinny or in a good physical body shape, surround yourself with people who are making similar efforts. Yeah. We've seen it over and over from all the camps that you guys are running, how people arrived in different shapes and forms, and now they're just like all the healthy people. So in no time, with effort, of course, and no time is a lie, because with time. Yeah. But everybody that surrounds themselves with people that have the same goals, sort of is hitting to that the same achievements. Yeah,
I would agree totally with it, because that's one thing that I say is that if you want to become a millionaire, hang out with billionaires. If you want to become super healthy, then hang out with super healthy people. So I completely agree with you. So that's an external thing. So internal, what would you say for people to do on a daily basis if there was one thing?
Honestly speaking, I discovered praying a couple of years ago. a couple of 4 years ago. And for me, that's very important because, you know, this is why I don't need insurance, because I already have insurance from God. So basically, when all fails and when all goes well, you can call it the universe or the divine power or God, but the feeling that someone protects you, that like there is a higher power and your connection with that higher power. If you don't feel that, allow yourself to feel that, because otherwise we have nothing in this world. If we are believing that we are just kind of the shell of an oyster, we are the oyster, we are the spirit. So that awareness alone is the most important thing, that you're being protected no matter what your decisions are. They're always good, because at the end you're the protection of a bigger power, which is the universe.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest discovery and the thing that I'm thinking of a lot.
Awesome. And
sorry to say that, but also this comes very easily when you try to make decisions, good decisions and bad decisions. You can always look inside of you. How do you connect to the universe? What would the universe, and I'm not talking in terms of ethics. You have to look in terms of yourself, because for some people being non-ethical means getting a divorce. It's about love. It's about what does the universe, what is the higher power tells you? What does it feel right to do to yourself, but without hindering the others? And then you know the answers.
I think that's great advice for everyone that's listening. So just going to ask you one last question. And before I ask the question, I just want to acknowledge you for all your success and inspiration that you've given to me and to everybody else around the world. And just want to say thank you for coming here today and sharing with us everything you've done and been through. I think it's just a marvelous journey.
You're too generous, David. I want to be modest, and you are making me feel that I should be unmodest with all your compliments. Thank you very much. I'm just a normal person, very normal, who had some natural courage, because I'm not afraid of many things. I'm not afraid of challenges, and I'm not afraid of working hard, as long as it is with passion and something within the limits that I want. But I was not the person who said, I'm going to make $1 million. I knew it, but I don't know how I knew it, but I knew it. But on the other hand, I don't think of myself, like I have such a huge place to go as far as where I want to go. However, on the other hand, as I said, as in the marathon competition, I don't want to compare myself with that person or that person. I just want to feel good. Am I feeling good and proud? Then it's fine. I'm fine. So, but you're making me sound like I'm amazing, which I am according to myself. But I want to be more modest.
So the last question is, what would you say to everybody? What's your definition of life?
Just embracement. You know, give the life a hug. And accept it. Sometimes you give a hug and it's a colder hug. Sometimes it's a hug and it's a warm hug. Sometimes it's a hug that turns into lovemaking. You know, live your life like that. And please don't listen to anybody who puts you down. And try not to put everybody or anybody down. Be aware. Like sometimes we are doing certain things and we are being put down. But don't be aware, and let's try to correct ourselves, because in reality, we want to live not from our egos. So this is what I like to say. Life is about living from the inside. And that's where the hug comes from.
Awesome. Thank you.